Hello and welcome everyone to a special edition of Coffee with Guillem. And this one is with somebody who last time I saw him, probably he was 17, 18, and he's
Yeah,
clearly grown up. Hello, Will. You were 17.
I think so. 16, 17, maybe.
This is one of those wonderful stories that perhaps we don't hear enough in football, but it's one that we're going to give a lot of detail on of somebody, Will Wright, who is here, who started football. I'll find out soon with what kind of dream, but certainly in part of his trajectory, his journey, he stopped at Biggleswade United, and now he's in League Two with Swindon Town. I'd like to know first of all what football was to you as a kid. What was your dream if you had the hope of being a professional very earlier on?
Probably very similar to most young kids in England, I'd imagine. Um, any early memories, all I remember is having a ball at feet or at least a ball at hand. My family or my mum's side of the family were very rugby orientated. So a little bit of rugby when I was younger, but always a ball at hand or at feet. And yeah, just from as long as I can remember, just always had that dream of probably mainly playing in the Premier League or playing for England, but certainly being a professional footballer and one that I'm currently living and loving every moment of it. So yeah.
All right. So when you started playing, it was the intention of enjoying yourself, or you say in the back of your mind you were thinking this is something I want to do and earn money from. At some point, you started thinking like that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just having some fun at the start. And it's exactly how I think it should be for kids now, especially when they're so young. It's such a grueling um, route, I suppose, to become a professional footballer, and I think you see it in the stats that how difficult it really is to become one. So I think the main thing, and even now, is still enjoying it. And at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to be able to play your best stuff. And now it's my livelihood, so I need to enjoy it to ensure I can still pay my bills and pay for my family. Really.
So what did you play before Biggleswade United then?
As a really young kid, I started at Town, which is where I grew up as a kid. My dad was the coach. Sort of played when I was really young. I was playing the year above because I was too young to get in a team. So yeah, then I played for Town. I then went to Rushden and Diamonds before they folded. They folded when I was about 13, I think. So I left there, had various different trials, Stevenage, Luton, and then I ended up in the pre-academy at Luton. And then alongside that, I was playing for Kempston Town again, back under my dad's management, my dad's coaching, and some of the other dads there. And we actually had a really successful side there. Actually, a lot of lads that weren't quite making it into academies, and we had a good few years at Kempston. Played some lovely football, and it's definitely helped me today. So yeah, then there I didn't particularly want to go to the Luton pre-academy. I wanted to be the academy player. I had friends that were in the academy, or players that I played with growing up that were in the academy, and kids sometimes that they can look down at maybe ones that aren't quite as good as the better ones, and the pre-academy definitely was looked down on by the main academy. So I actually tried not to go to that, and it took probably a kick up the backside from my mum to actually make me go to those sessions. And I met a coach there, a guy that I still speak to regularly now, a guy called Joe Deeney, who I just fell in love with the way he coached, and it probably saved me from stopping playing football, to be honest with you. And from there, I never got in the academy at Luton. I end up doing their college scheme that's linked to Hitchin Town, and then from there, yeah, I that's when I started playing for Biggleswade at sort of 16, 17.
Was your coach Christian Colas?
He came in just after I left, just after I went to Hitchin, but yeah, I do know him.
Okay. So remind me, who was your coach at the time then?
I had a little bit under Fran, again, who's someone I still speak to now. I see him whenever we play MK Dons. Obviously, I played them in the playoffs last year, so I met up with him then. But it was Mick.
Mick Reardon.
Yes, that's it.
So that was the team that won the only title
Yeah,
since I arrived to Biggleswade United from the men's first team, which
yeah.
was that season, is the last season of Mick at the club,
Hmm.
and Fran was assisting him. Fran, a UEFA pro coach that came over from Spain, from Birmingham.
Yeah,
In fact, he was there, but obviously Spanish, and then created or started our academy at Biggleswade United.
yeah,
I wanted to be. That's why I asked about Christian. I wanted to be a little bit a father of your story, because of
yeah.
course I come in as director of football at Biggleswade United. I want the team to play from the back, and then I'm thinking, he's been signed because that's what I wanted. But I think with Mick, he had his own ideas, and he saw in you somebody that obviously was a very good defender. Wasn't so
Mm,
important, I don't think, if you played it from the back so much at that time. But
no.
what are your memories of arriving to the team and the club?
So yeah, it took me until about January, I think, to actually get from the reserves into the first team. So I spent a lot of time. I mean, it's difficult. I was a 16, 17-year-old lad who's skinny, who's not long been playing centre back, who probably can't be trusted yet to play in a man's league. So yeah, it took me a while to get in, and then once I did get in, I don't really think I looked back, and I think you guys coming in definitely suited my style. I still do now. I want to play out from the back. It's what my game is pretty much built on. So, you guys probably done me a favour coming in, really. But yeah, it took me a while to get in, and then we ended up having that run to the cup final. And I think I'm not sure if Marv was injured or if he wasn't playing at the time, but I ended up being the captain that night, and I think I know Tracy's spoken about it a few times. I think I was the youngest captain at Biggleswade to win a trophy, so that's always something that I look back on with fond memories. Really.
I tell you what, I was seeing from the stands, or even when I went into the changing room, somebody that was mature for your age, because as you said, you were 17.
Mm,
So the team, the group accepted perfectly well that you were leading. You were ahead of the rest in terms of quality, but you didn't need managing, if you like. So you
mm,
could see that you were good. You could see that you were going to places. We could see that as well, and all we could do was just to celebrate the fact that a talented boy believed in his possibilities and did the
mm,
right things to actually get to what you got now. So um, if now that you go to, obviously you're a professional and
mm.
you go to all kinds of stadiums, but tell us, entering the changing room in one of those games, our changing room at the what we call now the Verdun Stadium, the second medal at the time. What,
Yeah.
what is it like when, as a 16, 17-year-old?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. I think I was probably a little bit lucky. I went in with my cousin, Jake at the time. Well, still my cousin, but Jake at the time was playing, and he knew Jason Darville and Stu as well. So I kind of knew some faces a little bit, which made it a bit easier. But yeah, do you know what? It's still the same now. It's still daunting going into new change rooms. It does get easier, but obviously as a young kid, yeah, I'd probably kept myself to myself a little bit, but I'm quite outgoing as a person anyway. I was always around my dad's football when I was younger, so I was used to sort of speaking in areas around grown men, and that probably stood me in good stead as well. But I think I knew I yeah, it's difficult. I knew I was a good player, so that probably helps as well. When you're playing well on the pitch, that you get accepted a lot quicker. I think if I wasn't a good player and so young, it probably wouldn't have been as plain sailing. So I sort of I lent on the two that I was socially okay, and obviously feeling like I was a good footballer. That it sort of helped both. I think.
By the end of the season, did you feel you had the respect of everyone, and that you could tell them what to do? And I don't remember that team being very vocal, but I remember you giving instructions. You felt that you had the respect of the team to do that.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I think because I was performing at a good level, that it doesn't matter once you're over the white line. It doesn't matter personality. It doesn't matter how 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 you are in the dressing room. Really, as long as you are playing to the level, people will listen. And if you're sort of leading by example as well, then then it goes a long way, and your words are held in high regard, really. So it's always been something that my dad drilled into me when I was younger about always being vocal. You can sometimes hide some flaws in your performance if you're organising, or if you're going through a tough moment in a game, if you get someone close to you and organise them, then they can do some of your work for you and help you through those moments in games. So I think he helped me learn that early. And yeah, I think, listen, every team needs to be organised. So if someone's going to do it and it's going to help the side, then it doesn't matter who it is. And yeah, it must have helped us in that run, because obviously we went on and had some success.
You touched on the final against Stotfold.
Yeah,
You were replacing a legend of the club, Martin Russell, who played for us more than 700 games.
yeah.
So it was big boots to fill. But take us to the game. What do you remember the preparations and the day? How important was it to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, it will have been the biggest game that I'd have played in up to that date. I felt, obviously, being a young centre back that's trying to progress through the levels, and having had a good few months, I sort of knew that I'd imagine teams locally would be looking as well. So in terms of that, on a personal level, I knew that I wanted to play well. It was at a familiar place for me, Kempston Rovers, where I played some youth football. I trained there twice a week for 3 years prior to that anyway. So it was familiar surroundings against some local lads that I did know as well. I played some county football against some of them. So um, yeah, I remember it being hot. It was bobbly. The pitch was dead dry. I can't actually remember the score.
2-1.
And yeah, it was a great experience, and we had a great dressing room as well. We've still got a WhatsApp group chat now that pops up a couple of times a year. A lot of the guys there still follow my career. Some lads are still playing, so whenever someone scores or wins maybe some silverware or something, it pops up in the group chat, and there's a lot of well wishes. So I think that sort of speaks volumes of the group, really, that we did have. That there's probably 10 to 12 of us in that group chat now that's still actually active. So um, yeah, I think again that shows what we did have on the pitch.
For me personally, that was, of course, I've just arrived in October of that year, and I thought, this is easy. No, I didn't
Yeah,
think that, but I thought, right, okay, first year, nice, we have a title, and now we can build from here. But I wanted the team to train instead of once a week. That's all you were doing, wasn't it?
yeah,
One training session a week,
yeah,
to three, which Mick couldn't follow that kind of lifestyle. Of course, he lived
hmm,
miles away from Biggleswade. I brought UEFA Pro, which is the highest batches you can get as coaches,
yeah,
from Spain, in Christian and Fran. And what they certainly did after that was set standards that we followed since. But yeah, we haven't won anything since, and that's 11
yeah,
years now. So perhaps looking back, what I what I want to say about it is that maybe I didn't realize what Mick was bringing to the club and to the team, how he
mm,
managed to actually put together a competitive side, and because he wasn't the profile of coach that I was looking for. Um, when he decided not to continue with us, we just went on in our journey. But looking back, I'm
yeah.
thinking, yeah, he had something. So what was it that he had? You feel?
At that level, you'll get players that will follow certain managers to different clubs because it normally is so local. I had similar, again, a hitching with Mark Burke. He had guys that just wanted to play for him, um, and it didn't really matter the club. In all honesty, that they played, they understood how the manager worked. They liked how he worked. A lot of it is a social side as well. They like going in the bar afterwards and having a beer with them. That does go a long way at the level. There's not exactly loads of money floating around at the level, so lads aren't too fussed on money. They want to play. They want to play with players and for people that they like. And I think you do get more out of players if they want to work for the manager. And I'm guessing, well, we had a lot of lads from London as well, so I'm guessing Mick will have brought them in himself. They travelled big distances, and Mick did as well. So um, yeah, I'm guessing he brought in the right blend of his own players and some local players that had been there a while, and it just seemed to work.
You wouldn't be surprised to hear that that thing you said about lads don't get too much money. That
Mm.
has changed a little bit. And
Yeah,
unless you actually have the budget, it's
yeah,
difficult to bring the talent, even in the ninth division, in step
mm.
five. But do you remember training with somebody who had been professional
Mm.
and who decided to join us for a couple of games. Do you remember Kike
Is
de
it
Lucas
Kike?
coming to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've discussed this with Mick. Mick decided to do a training session as Kike. I said to Kike, if you're going to come in, and he kind of, we did the signing of it, and we even
Yeah.
mentioned it in Sky Sports News at the time. He decided to do a training session that was physical
Yeah.
to perhaps impress Kike, or I don't really know the intention.
Mm.
Um, to which there was no ball anywhere. And Kike, after an hour, is like, "What are we playing football here?"
Mm.
But it was interesting how somebody of that caliber, who of course had retired at the time but came back from retirement, balances things. Because another
Mm.
thing I remember, and I want to check your memories of this, is that when he started playing for us, and he played in the FA Cup as well, we didn't see him. We kept playing the same way we always did. And I couldn't understand it. I was saying, give the ball to him.
Mm.
He's the guy who's going to do something for us. But there is a dynamic, there's a way of doing, there's a balance that somebody like that brought into the team, kind of, tweaked it a little bit. Is that how he felt?
Do you know what if you say if it has an FA Cup to it, I wasn't anywhere near the first team at that point. I remember, I think Darv scored a. Did he score a volley last minute? It's something that he dines out on now. He talks about it all the time. So I remember he scored a big goal, and the FA Cup's massive to non-league sides because it is that extra revenue. So some sides will start with strong sides, and if they don't progress in the FA Cup, they'll lose players because they haven't got the revenue to keep them. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think as I'm probably finding now, it's well, I only have one experience of it, but going up through the leagues, obviously the level gets better as I keep going. So it's probably easier for me to adapt. Whereas Kike is coming from the top of the of the game, and he's dropping all the way down to, like you said, the ninth tier of English football, and it's not the same game. The game's completely different, and it would take him a while to adjust the pitches, the style of football, the physicality. Whereas I think it's easier if you go up through the levels as the players get better, and you're not used to that quality around you. Where Kike probably found it harder. He's not used to the quality. Just unfortunately the other way around.
So, looking back now, what would you say you've taken from that experience that you still carry with you?
I just always sort of remember where I've come from. I know that my career still, it still feels like it's on the upward trajectory. Obviously, I had the chance to stay at Crawley this season in League One, so maybe it is taking a notch down back down to League Two. But for me, it's still the highest level of football that I've played. So, um, I mean, my career is sort of, it's had the same things happen everywhere really. Where at Biggleswade, it took me 6 months to get into the first team, so I had to stick at it. Then I went to Hitchin and I had to go out on loan twice to Bedford and Barton because I couldn't get in the team there. Then I got in and stayed in. Then I went to Colchester and couldn't make the first team there, so I went to Dagenham. Um, in the National League, and I got in the side, then back out of the side, and it took me a while to get back in, and then I found myself again, and then I finally got the progression to League Two, and I started okay at Gillingham, and then found myself back out of the team again, and had to fight again, and that's when I found myself at Crawley, and then got promoted, and it's just always seems to have like maybe one step forward, two steps back, and then propelling myself forward again. And I'm still sort of enjoying that journey at the moment, thinking that in my eyes, the trajectory is still going the same way, and hopefully that can continue, and we'll sort of see how far that can take us. So it's probably, in answer to your question, it's probably helped me to know that I've got to dig in all those years. I know where I've come from, and I know where I want to get to, and it's all helped me along the way, and I've picked up information from every single level. I've been like a sponge wherever I've been, and it's all still inside my head that you also got. I don't want to. No disrespect. I don't want to end back in the ninth tier of English football, so I need to keep progressing to stay at the level.
I keep repeating that the difference between the levels, from my experience of watching, not obviously playing, it's the speed of thought. Because even in a step five, the tempo is quite high, and it's continuous as well. So you need to be physically well, and you need to take a lot of decisions very, very quick. And the further up you go in the ladder, the better the decisions are. Would you agree with that? Anything else you will add in terms of what difference to from step five upwards?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with what you're saying about step five as well. I think that the game on a whole is getting so much more professional. Even outside of sport at the moment, it seems like health is such a big thing for people my age and below. So everyone wants to be fit. So the levels will then naturally increase fitness wise for step five and like you said, that sort of level. The speed of thought, and I found at the time sort of the speed of passing, being the player I am, the speed of passing increased, and I had to adapt quicker. And yeah, I think there's players like now that I see that have played in the Premier League that come and play League Two. They're like David McGoldrick, for example, at Notts County. He might not have the legs, but I don't know what he sees and how he sees it quicker than me, but he does, probably by about 5 seconds. And he was all over the Notts County pitch. Like I couldn't stay near him, and he like. But you put me in a running race, and I could probably outrun him. But his speed of thought is just so fast, and I think you are right. And again, it comes with playing with players that also have that higher speed of thought will also help. So there'll be players at step five level that haven't quite managed to make it at step three, step two, that if you probably put them out there, they could stand out at that level. But you've also got to be consistent with your performances, and you've got to do it over a 90-minute period, over 38, 40 games a season. You can't just turn it on and off for one or two games, because managers need reliable players that can do it for a stretch of 10, 15, 20 games.
Can you think of one or two players, perhaps one in Biggleswade United, that you thought you've got everything in your feet? If you had
Mm.
the right head, you go
Yeah,
very far.
we had the little lad Sammy. I can't remember his surname. One of the London lads. He was double sharp at the level, and he scored a lot of goals for us. And again, another one that sort of, I don't want to be disrespectful, but you'd imagine like when the going gets tough, that the pitches get bobbly and boggy, and it gets cold, that maybe they don't want to do it as much as they did in the early months of the season. I think we had is it Chinua Cole we had at left back as well, another London lad. I think he went on to play maybe Conference South. So at the time, he was probably playing below his level. He's one that stands out from at the time, but someone that probably got a good amount out of his career too.
So are we going to see you back at Biggleswade United at some point? Maybe a midweek. I mean, you live miles away, but
Mm.
at some point.
I'm not too far, you know. I still live this way. I've got a flat down in Swindon, so I sort of mix. Yeah, so I sort of split my time really. So I'm in Wixham's at the moment. If you know, I'm basically near Bedford, so I'm still not far away from Biggleswade at all. I actually haven't been down. I haven't been down for a while. It's difficult, obviously,
Yeah.
with my schedule, and then when I do live away, I've got to come home and see the other half. Otherwise, she'll kill me for not staying in. So I have to be careful with how much I go and do really.
In fact, let's finish it with that one because that's the part of football that we don't take to talk about. We don't
Mm.
see. You obviously were born in Luton, but you had to be all over the place, and you've been traveling and going to those clubs and staying on your own. Is that how you've been doing it?
I think Amy and I might have got together whilst I was at Biggleswade, or maybe just before. So we're actually getting married this summer. So she's been through the whole journey with me, the whole way. So someone that I share all the experiences with, really. But yeah, I moved to Diggs in Colchester. Then when I went to Dagenham, I got a flat in London with one of my friends from school. I sort of wanted to be able to go home, and he wasn't involved in football. He's just had a normal 9 to 5 at Canary Wharf, and sort of take my distraction away from football, so it didn't always revolve around football, and I could still be a young lad, I suppose, just trying to grow up through life, really. So we had a flat together in London. God, that place was messy. We just lived like normal young lads, takeaways. Probably not as professional as I should have been, but just times that the good times that I used to grow up, really. And then it became time for me and Amy to buy a house together, and obviously where we are in Bedfordshire, it's kind of central to a lot of places. So we both went to school together here, so we thought we'll have the base here. And then from there, Gillingham, I was traveling every day, so it was like a 4 hour round trip. You end up in a car school, but I probably should have moved down, and yeah, it's just difficult with where you are at. We've been together so long. We just got engaged. We just got a house, so she'd just got a new job. It's hard for her to up all of her life to move down there for League Two football, I suppose. And then Crawley, I ended up staying in hotels during the week until you sort of get comfortable with the boys. And I got really close with one of the lads there, Loz, who had a spare room at his house. So I ended up basically moving in with him. Once the golf season come back around, we basically just played golf every evening after training. And then that was just coincided with having a successful season. And yeah, that led to me then getting my own place this season to sort of split the travel. And then it gives Amy somewhere nice to go over a weekend if she wants to have a weekend off. She feels like she's going on holiday because it's in a nice little area, so she enjoys that. And I have weekends where family come down, and it sort of helps take some load out of the traveling really, because it's still, when I drive from home, it still takes me over 2 hours in the morning. So like tomorrow morning, I'll drive to training. But that's one thing with this job. We're normally not until 10 o'clock, so I haven't got to get up too early. It's just the long time on the roads, but it's just something that I've always looked after myself well. Touch wood, I haven't had any serious injuries, and what I seem to be doing at the moment hasn't been doing too much harm to me. So um, yeah, hopefully that continues.
What a brilliant, eloquent picture of what life as a footballer is. You just describe.
Mm,
It's been wonderful talking to you. You have to come to the Verdant, if
yeah,
nothing else, because we need to take a picture with you on the shirt. So you go in the Hall of Fame next to
yeah, of
Maradona,
course, yeah,
Messi, Guardiola, and all those, and to
yeah.
give
I'm sure I'll fit in well
Tracy.
next to those guys.
That's right. And to give Tracy a head a big hug. We talk
Yeah,
about you a lot, and we follow you very closely. And we're very, very, very happy that it's going so well for you. So, Will, thank you very much for being in Coffee with Guillem today.
thank you. Thanks for having me.